Hey everyone, this is Jeff from Portal Reef. I just got a crazy deal, so I always recommend people to search the saltwater groups just to find out if there's any crazy deals going on. For me, I'm always scanning the Facebook marketplace. There's always reefers coming and going around in my area. I live in a little bit more rich neighborhood, so there's a lot of people just throwing cash around. So I got this deal here. It was placed in the marketplace for $50. I know this is crazy. Originally, I'd seen the Hannah checker, and that was the very first thing that caught my eye. I was like, $50 for that? That's crazy. But then I noticed there was more screenshots, and I started looking through, and the screenshots only included a couple of these Hannah checkers, and then I think one of these boxes. So I was like, okay, whatever. Ask the person, meet up, sure. Get there, they just have a bag of just all this stuff in there. I'm like, holy crap, this is more than what I was expecting. So this person, I guess, had a reef and it was too much maintenance and they ended up just leaving the hobby. They definitely had the right test kits here to have a very good system going on. Some of it's brand new, like some of it's not even opened. This master kit isn't even open. You can even see the dust. It's been sitting around for a while. The plastic's still on there. The Hannah checkers basically brand new. It might have been used once. It wasn't even calibrated. So the main reason I got this was because I wanted a second Hannah checker for my current one so I could use it on my quarantine tank and I wouldn't get them contaminated. So anyways, long story short, I get there and they have all this stuff, just crazy amounts of stuff in there. But yeah, I think a couple of these boxes they didn't even use them. The battery is still, whoops, the battery is still in the thing. Like they never even put the battery in the checker, so I know it wasn't never used, or I don't know who would take the battery out. But this one, yeah, the alkalinity is right there. I was like, okay, that's weird. So crazy deal. I think all in all, everything here is $500, maybe a little bit less than that. But this was a crazy steal, so always check on your local reef. So we're gonna do a quick update on the tank. It's been a while, so there's a lot of things that have changed. So here's the tank. We did a lot of changes to the rock work. I ended up taking out the flat rocks, the foundation rocks that I think I had 3 of them stacked. We ended up buying 2 large Caribbean Sea arches. They were a little bit more discounted at the time. One's just upside down and the other one has the arch. Looks pretty cool. I like the ridges on it. I believe it's going to promote a little bit more growth. We can have more frags on there instead of that the flat look. And some of the frags are actually looking really good. One thing to note is the tank did have a really bad Cyano bacteria outbreak. I'll show a video here in the corner. But yeah, we had it going on for about 2 weeks. I ended up getting the nutrients in the tank settled. We ran the nitrates. They were about 50 to 60, and then I ended up carbon dosing and doing a little neophos to up the phosphates to get the phosphates to 0.05 and the nitrates down from 50 to what we have now is about 10 to 15. I think it's a little bit high, but we're making do with what we got. So to take a look at the frags, we have a bunch of new frags, and they're really nice ones. So we have a bunch of Favias and Chalices. They're currently in the daylight, so they're not going to be like popping, but got some this nice Millie. I think that's a meteor shower, and the random zoanthid here, which I think they call it a fairy fart, which is interesting, and then random Ghani, a rainbow chalice, 2 acro, and then this dead acro. So the shops around here aren't the greatest, and I knew this was a fresh cut, and it just immediately bailed out. It's just an unfortunate thing. So we also have a mushroom back there. It's bleached, so I have him under the rock, and then a few new frags here. We got this button scully, which I thought was really cool. It was almost completely white around the rim when I first got it, but he's bouncing back pretty good. This guy is going a little bit of green on there. Originally, it just had orange and black, and then we still have the acans going on here. We have another Zoa right here. I thought it was gonna be a white zombie, is what they called it, but it doesn't have the white ring in the center. You can't really see it's closed up, but we have scrambled eggs. I'm pretty sure that's what that's called on the right. And then a random acro back there, which was just like a little piece that broke off. I asked the guy if I could have it. And then we got a couple of white ones back there. I'm not throwing them away because they do have polyps. I don't know if that's an indication of anything, but yeah. The shops here are just not the greatest. We have basically a chop shop, reef stores that just, they cut them and they sell them. They don't really let them grow. They get new shipments in, and they just have high turnover rate. So the quality isn't great. Like that button scully, he definitely wasn't looking great when I got him. But the price I cannot argue with. $20 for that guy. So usually they go for like 40, 50, maybe a little bit higher. I'm not sure. But yeah, some of the frags, I mean, they don't look great, but you gotta sometimes take the risk with some of these frags. Some of these frags look really good, and just others you basically just take the risk with it. I do have a bunch in the back there, which are just the Band of Misfits pieces that either broke off or kind of got bleached a little bit. So the lighting was about, we were getting about 400 where that Dreamweaver was, and I had another rainbow here that was on this corner. It ended up pretty much bleaching the tips, so I didn't realize the lights were that powerful. I went up and used my Cyano par meter, and this is when I realized that the Cyano par meter, it's a version 2, so it's like super old, and it doesn't really read that well. So basically we're getting about 250 to 300 here on the Dreamweaver. The Bazinga on the far left is also getting 300, but in the middle is like 250. I think that's a green Slimer. It's getting about 250. And then we got the Magicians here that are taking about 300. They're dead center in between both Radions, so they're getting super cooked, but they actually like it. There's a little baby here on the far right. I don't know if we'll be able to see it. Let's zoom in here. There it is. So a little baby ended up growing on that bad boy. I'm really happy and excited for that piece. We still have a bunch of these zoanthids back here that I originally had. They're going pretty well. This one, it hasn't grown much at all. It's still a 3 polyp, unfortunately. I don't know. The other ones grew really well, but that one is the only one that kind of just is sitting there. One of the other big changes you'll notice is the rainbow anemone is not in where it usually is. Nothing like crazy or anything. I ended up moving it because I wanted the CSB in here. So the CSB is right there. Yep. He parked himself under the rockwork and hasn't moved for the last week. I was told that they love high par around 200 to 300, and I figured he would really like this tank, but he's just been in the shadows, just kicking it. Here's a labor of love piece that I got. It basically, these two pieces basically are dead when I originally got them, and I pretty much got them for like $10 for these 3 pieces. And yeah, they were basically dying, and I was like, whatever, I'll put them in my tank, see what happens. And it's grown back. Now the flesh is growing, but the skeleton is just really dead and has that green look on it. These used to be a lot smaller, and I thought they were definitely going to just bail out immediately, but they've come back a little bit. That's pretty cool. So I'm a hobby at heart. I really enjoy watching these grow out a little bit, see if I can get them to back in their full form. Here's the rainbow. He's in the 20, kicking it. Really cool. The golden Midas. Oh yeah, we are missing the fish in here. So the fish had pretty much a velvet outbreak, and it came from the powder blue. He ended up getting bullied too much from the purple, and he succumbed to velvet. He pretty much died in like about 2 days. One day I saw the spots, the next day I was setting up the quarantine, get everything ready, and I got him in it right away. He didn't survive the original dip, because I was gonna dip to relieve some of the velvet on his skin, so he didn't survive it, unfortunately. Well, we lost both wrasses as well. They did not do well in quarantine with the purple tank. It's just not enough space. So we have just the 2 clowns and the purple. They went through a dip and then they had a formalin bath. Let's take a look at the skimmer or the sump area real quick. So the sump area is pretty much not much change. We're still running the clear filter roller. I really want to get it replaced. It's super loud. It turns a little, like the motor is just super loud, and it's kind of, it's efficient but small. That's the problem I have with it. I'm just gonna manually do this real quick, see if it'll clear up the water. Yeah, so yeah, it's loud, you can hear it. I want to get rid of this chamber, maybe get a Red Sea filter roller, because those are basically the best on the market right now, and get rid of these baffles. We have the macroalgae chamber. It's doing really well. It originally had red go-go as well in there, and that stuff just, it disintegrated. It was like the small little like branching stuff, and that stuff kept getting disintegrated in the tank. I got tired of it getting stuck in my skimmer, so I just removed it. It was just super annoying to handle the day-to-day cleaning of my skimmer because it kept getting in there. So we have the water lettuce, which is growing amazingly well in here, the dragon breath, and then I forgot what this red stuff is. It's another red macroalgae. We have Clara still growing pretty well in there, and then the Chaeto is also in here. I don't think Chaeto does very well in a tank that doesn't have much flow, so there isn't much flow here. It's basically whatever comes down here, cycles in here, and then goes back there. The baffle does pretty well keeping the stuff in. I had to put a sponge behind it because some of the debris from the decaying matter of these macroalgae would get back there and then clog everything up. We have 4 new bags of media, which I originally had in my 100 a few years back, and it absorbed a lot of bad nutrients. So they were sitting in a bucket for about a month in RO DI water, but now I'm pretty sure they're all cleaned up. So I threw them in there. They are helping with the beneficial bacteria. The skimmer is running really well. It's kind of really dirty. It's still pulling up skimming even though there's no fish. I do feed the tank about 2 to 3 times, just a little couple of specks here and there of food to help out with the cleaner shrimp that's still alive in there, and then all the other cleanup crew that kind of, well, they still need a little bit of food, and the beneficial bacteria needs to stay alive while the fish aren't in there. Now there is a canister of this Ocean Magic from Algae Barn. Now this actually isn't from Algae Barn. This is stuff I grow in my own window, and I think it's pretty beneficial to get the copepods eating that stuff. We have moved the probes back here. The Salinity probe is freaking god awful on the apex. It's either it reads perfectly fine after you calibrate it, but the second a air bubble gets in there, it goes either up 1 tick or down 1 tick, and it's super annoying. I don't recommend using it. Everyone said that, oh, it's because it's near other electronics or whatever. I think it's just the probe itself. It just isn't built right because of how it like takes the water into the probe. It just feels weird. So it's not working very well, but the other 2 probes are working pretty good. We have the Apex Trident actually taking water from this chamber as well, and then we have our doser. So for a short while I did dose vodka, and it did not work well. The reason I switched to vodka is because my Jabo doser is analog, and whenever you set the settings, you have to go through every individual setting one by one whenever you want to make a change. So I had it dosing 10 times, so I'm hitting the button 10 times, getting to that mode, and then changing it was super annoying. So I got the vodka, dosed it, it's more potent, so you can dose less of it. It did not work. About a week, my nitrates kept going up, just slowly going up. So I switched back to the vinegar dosing, which has been helping out greatly. I think we peaked at 23, and I was like, okay, I can't do this anymore. So I got the vinegar back in there, and now we're back down to 11. And I'm dosing about 50 to 60 milliliters of that a day, not all at once. It's 10 times, I think. The tank is getting fed with Reef Nutrition. I do this once a week with the Reef Roids. I soak the Reef Roids in the Reef Nutrition and then I dose it. It looks crazy because the Reef Nutrition, if you don't know, it's like a neon green, and the Reef Roids are orange to red, and the combination just makes it really crazy. One other thing we do dose every once in a while is this calcium carbonate. It's just a homemade mixture of coral snow, and it helps with the detritus. It bonds with the detritus and it lets it get into the water column and into your skimmer. It makes the water cloudy for about a few hours, and then it goes away, which is pretty cool. And it's just, I mean, it's a cheap little brand here. Let me see. So here we are. The you get so much of it. And I use this once a week, and I just mix it in this little bottle. I use it on both the 20 and the 100, because the 20 definitely needs it. And then we have the 2 bottles of microbacteria 7 and the regular one. I find that to be one of the best bacteria so far. I know everyone glazes the Fritz's, but the Fritz has been the turbo start. I think it worked. Maybe it didn't work for me. I don't know. It depends on the batch you get. And then for a while we had low alkalinity. I used some of this Reef Builder. It got it back up. And then we also had the Kalkwasser, that because we were mixing Fritz salt, and the Fritz salt was making the calcium below 420, and I was getting really mad the fact that it kept mixing below what the box says. So I ended up getting Kalkwasser to see if I could even that out. Didn't work, so I went and got a Tropic Marin box salt and mixed that up. The box says it mixes at 450 to 460, and that brought my calcium from 410 back up to about around 440, which is exactly where I wanted. So now I'm mixing a little bit of both Tropic Marin and Fritz Turbo, or Fritz Pro Salt, the red box, I'm pretty sure, together, and it's like a 3-to-1 mix. So it's been working pretty well. I want to save some money. Tropic Marin is pretty expensive. It's twice the price of Fritz, but it mixes the same amount. So a little bit of information about my 20. This is the first bare bottom tank. I originally had sand in here. I took it out because I didn't like it, but it looks kind of cool. The only problem is I need to figure out how to get this detritus to filter into the water column. It's kind of just sitting down there. Here's the bubble. The bubble is actually, she's loving this tank. It might be a little bit low light because at night she'll stretch up to this like higher up portion of the rockwork and really stretching up there. This is where I house all my leathers as well. We have some toadstools, neon green, just some regular browns, and then we have this Kenyan tree, which he looks a little bit upset. He hates the high flow that I have this MP10 in. And then we have this random piece here. I don't remember what this piece is called. Maybe somebody can clarify me. But yeah, the little feelers on it, I'm surprised it survived, because this was my test tank and some of the frags went in here and they didn't make it. It was just, this was a holding tank just for fun. Some of the Fabias are coming back right there. Let me grab the lens real quick. There we go. So there's a Fabia that's kind of coming back. There's the pencil urchin. We have the red scooter, who is a really good copal bot eater. He's pretty much cleaned this tank out. And then we have some random Zoas. I think they're called Yodas, but here's the bubble in its full form color. Really pretty. Kind of wish it was an ultra, but sometimes you just get a red rose bubble, and it has some white specks on it on the tips there on the left. It's pretty cool. Had it probably one of the longest corals I have in this tank, in both tanks, because it originally came, it wasn't a 10, then I upgraded that to this 20, and the 20 got upgraded to the 100, and it's made it through all the tanks. So yeah, so that is the update for the tank. The fish will be back in the tank around December. I'll get another update then when the fish are ready. We'll get them back in here. I'm going to quarantine them a little bit longer than expected. They're going through copper powder right now. I'm going to do pretty much a month plus a week of copper powder, because last time I did a month and then it felt like it was right, but I guess at some point it wasn't therapeutic, or maybe there was already itch velvet in the tank from my other fish, and that's how my powder blue got it. But they should be back up and running in the tank. We'll have some more frags. Hopefully these frags will grow out. Some of them are looking pretty good. They have new growth on them, which is like probably one of the most exciting things to look at the tank every day and seeing, oh wow, like Dreamweaver's got a new little stick started growing out from one end, or the the magicians have a new head. These pink ones just are starting to just explode on the bottom of that. I'm hoping to get some of these chalices as well growing. But anyways, I hope everyone's having a great week, and hopefully all your tanks are doing well. Until next time, take it easy.